Hi, we're at IBC 2023 and we're at the Blackmagic Design booth and we're looking at the new camera. This is the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K and it's a full frame camera. Let's see what it can do.
Lens Width coverage of IBC 2023 is brought to you by Ulanzi Video Accessories, Small Rig, Big Dreams, Jiyun, Make It Real, and Godox, Embrace Creative Possibilities.
Hi, we're at IBC 2023 at the Blackmagic Design booth and we're talking to Simon. Hello, Simon.
Hi, great to see you.
Great to see you as well. And you have a new camera here. Can you maybe a little bit explain about what it does, what's new about it, and anything else that you can tell us?
Of course I will. Yeah, shown here at IBC for the very first time. This is the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K. Looks quite similar in format to the pocket camera. That's going to be one of the first things that you see. But it's actually a completely different camera in terms of the inner workings, the sensor and everything else. So whilst it looks familiar, couldn't be more different. For starters, it's a 6K sensor. It's full frame. So it's the first Blackmagic digital film camera that we've made as full frame. It's also the first Blackmagic digital film camera that we've made with an L mount lens on there. And I think that's very interesting to people in terms of the versatility and adaptability of L mount. Makes it useful to people that own lots of different types of lenses, lots of different types of glass. You can see we've got the camera here sort of fully rigged up. The features you'd be familiar with, of course, are things like the articulated screen, a tilting screen on there. And one of the things that I think is an important point on this camera is why is it similar, why have we used that form factor? And our main decision around that was to ensure that everybody that had the Pocket 6K Pro, which is an incredibly popular camera over the last couple of years, everybody that's made an investment into the EVF and the battery grip on that camera can use the exact same accessories. And we're not just modifying those slightly and saying you have to buy new ones and it's another £500 for this, another £1,000 for that. You can use the same accessories. So I think that's a good message for customers. But we've got a 6K full frame camera that's €2,355. Now that's just incredible. And obviously at full frame, it gives people much more versatility in the way they shoot, the artistic capabilities of the camera. It's dual ISO, it's incredible in low light. So this really is a camera designed for cine production at an incredible price point.
I think we talked just before this interview, we discussed the whole battery issue. So a lot of people that we've talked to mentioned that the battery on this is actually slightly limited compared to maybe other brands. But you mentioned something I think important. We're actually using Sony for this shoot.
Yep.
And the problem, the difference is that here you have a much bigger monitor. And the bigger monitor does require more power. However, you do have some options to mitigate this.
And I think that's a really good point. I think that's correct. So we're saying 60 minutes is the standard battery life on this. But of course, and you pointed it out, that battery's driving a lot of things on this camera. So we're shooting 6K RAW, we've got the high brightness screen, we've got the touch screen menus and the Blackmagic OS on that camera.
It's also bigger than most other cameras.
It's bigger, so you don't necessarily need to have an external monitor as well. And all of those things clearly are going to draw battery power. So it's 60 minutes at standard based upon shooting 6K at 24 frames. We're saying 1 hour of battery life. But to the point that we were discussing before, the existing battery grip, which takes 2 batteries, and then it bolts really neatly onto the underside of the camera. Of course, you're getting then 2 batteries instead of 1. That's going to extend your battery life further. So I think that we've got options for that, but certainly the battery in there's driving a lot of real estate with regards to that camera.
Okay, you have another camera that you want to show us?
So we do. Let's hop over and we'll look at the Micro Studio 4K G2.
Okay, let's go. So Simon, you have here a new, very tiny camera. This is the Blackmagic Micro Studio Camera 4K G2. There is no way I can remember this name.
I think you did really well there, absolutely.
I was looking at the sign.
You cheat. So this is a design which will be familiar to a lot of people already because This is a G2, we had a G1, and since we stopped making the original camera, every single trade show people used to come onto our booth and go, when are you making a new micro camera? So we've finally given in, and we've gone back to this camera format because it was so incredibly popular. The reasons it was so popular is that the size of this camera is just incredible. The body is the size of a tennis ball, which is just ridiculous in itself. What's even more ridiculous now is that within the G2 model, this is now a 4K Ultra HD camera with 12 gig SDI, so that's single cable connectivity for Ultra HD. What we've also done on the camera is, you'll see if I move it around slightly and we can zoom in this after, it uses a micro BNC input for the SDI. We've SDI in and SDI out. And let me explain what that means. That means that we can control this camera with our ATEM production switches. So all of our live production switches have camera control built in, and we can control this camera with either the software or the hardware panels for our ATEM live production switches. So as I move it back round, we've added another couple of really cool features to it, and that is that you've also got a full-size HDMI, so you could come straight out of the camera. If you wanted an external monitor maybe on there or something like that, we've done that, but we've also included a USB-C connection, so this camera will also record Blackmagic RAW straight to an external USB drive. So if you don't want to use it just in a live environment, but you want to use it, say, in something cinematic, you want to put them inside a car, or you want to put them inside somewhere really small, or hide them in a set, then it's easy to do that, but still take a raw recording.
Can you do it at the same time?
That file. So you can, I believe, it's a really great question, I believe you can record and output of the SDI at the same time. You caught me, I've not tried it, but there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't be able to do that. What we've done here on the booth is we've also included the Blackmagic zoom demand and the focus demand, which are on here, and they attach to the camera again via USB, so we can focus the camera, zoom the camera, we can focus the camera, and rig it really as a mini studio camera using the accessories. These accessories can be used across the Blackmagic camera range. So it doesn't matter whether you're using the studio camera, the Ursa Broadcast, or with any of those products, you can use the zoom and focus demand on any of those. And I think that flexibility really makes this versatile and incredibly usable in so many different ways.
I have to say, I'm playing with this as you speak, and the focus at least is fantastic. And the zoom we're seeing here is digital zoom?
Yeah, so it's an electronic zoom, so it's not like you would expect with, say, a B4 lens, you know, in terms of that smoothness and the that sort of power focus.
It's actually pretty smooth.
I mean, but wow, for the cost of this as a piece of
fantastic.
glass,
yeah,
it's very, very usable and delivers a fantastic result.
The sensor size is micro four thirds?
It is, yeah. Yes, micro four thirds. But of course, you could adapt from that to a different lens. But yeah, micro four thirds.
Yeah, and is there a way? I mean, I'm just thinking. Well, probably not with this, but you can put a full focus on this, and if you want,
look, you could rig it out. There's mounting points on the bottom. There's also one on the top. People may want to put these into drones, and because it's so small, or other things. So it's really easy to mount it. I mean, we put 4 of them up in our scene. We've made them visible because obviously we don't want to hide them. They would be easy to hide in a camera set, but we wanted people to see them. We just mounted 4 of them in our camera scene so that we can sort of get different views, different angles.
And how do you control them? Because basically you don't have, like, if you're not using ATM, basically the Blackmagic ATM SDI in this case, or something like.
Sure.
I mean, do you have like an app, or how do you actually change? It doesn't have any screen, so.
Sure. So you can control them through. The ATEM has software control as well. We also have a hardware camera control panel. Even things like our ATEM SDI switcher will give you some camera control built into this device. So you've got a whole range of options as to how you choose to control them, which of course you need, especially if you put them into remote remote locations.
But there is no way of controlling them from, let's say, an external Blackmagic screen or something like that?
So there is a menu and stuff on the camera on the side of it. So if you were to plug in a monitor, so you haven't got a screen on this monitor. If you were to plug in to the HDMI output, you could see the menu as an overlay on that output and control the menu that way. So if you wanted during setup, and this is kind of what we were doing when we built the booth up here, we had one of our video assists, product that's right behind you right now. We plugged a video assist in there, and then we were accessing the menu and controls that way. So there's just it's so versatile that it almost fits into any manner of things that you could think to do with it.
Okay.
And it's under €1,000.
Oh, that was my next question. You know, how much does it cost? Is it available right now?
It is. Sorry, it's going to be available in October. It's going to be a few
very
weeks,
soon.
few weeks out after IBC. It's going to be available in October. But yeah, at under €1,000, this is a camera that people are going to use for lots of different things.
Okay. Thank you very much, Simon.
Thank you.
And see you in the next video.